When the ozone layer was formed, what happens? The earth temperature gradually decreased. So when that yeast started to rot, what happened? He didn't see any organism growing on it. There's Big Bang theory, and they said that the evolution started, or the formation of the earth started, because of this particular Big Bang theory. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to today's session on chapter 7, that is evolution of 2nd PUC biology. I'm Dr. Divya, biology faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysore, Temple of Excellence. So we all know that evolution is very, very important for the changes that occur in a living organism. So you might have seen that the world is made up of diversity of living organisms. Few living organisms which were present like thousands of years back, they don't exist anymore, or even if they exist, they would have been in an evolved form. So all these variations are because of the genes or the genetic variation of an organism, or also because of various environmental factors to adapt themselves, the organisms would have evolved. So therefore, evolution is very, very important. Say for example, we human beings, we also have evolved from the monkeys or the apes, right? So during the process of evolution, so the human beings have evolved through a process of evolution from the apes. Likewise, there are a variety of plant and animal species that have evolved. Say for example, if we take the example of Lamarck, so the giraffe, according to him, it had a short neck, right? But through the process of evolution, they got a long neck. Or be it the finches. So finches also, there are different finches birds, which are a species of birds. So they have a variety of species that are available. So how did the finches develop into such varieties of species? It is because of the process of evolution. So likewise, they say the earliest form of bird, that was the Archaeopteryx, that is nowadays the birds that are there, they evolved from the Archaeopteryx, which was present in the dinosaur era. Like this, a lot of evolution has taken place, and evolution is very, very important for the benefit of the life of the present Earth. So therefore, in today's chapter, we shall discuss what different theories or ideas people had about evolution, and how exactly earlier days, exactly how people thought the earth evolved, or the origin of life started in the earth. So we shall start with the session. So talking about the origin of life, it is said that the universe is about 20 billion years old. They have existed since 20 billion years old, and from then onwards itself, they have the different types of organisms that are there in the universe have started to evolve, and huge clusters of galaxies were present, which comprised of the universe. So the clusters or groups of galaxies together form the universe, and still we people believe in that, and still a lot of experiments or scientific evidences are being collected by various scientists who are working in this specific field in order to search for how the organism exactly came into existence into the earth. It is always a curious question, right? Even one or the other day we think, how did actually life start on earth? Which actually agitated the life to start on earth? So all these experiments are done by various scientists, wherein they found out that a group of galaxies or clusters of galaxies are present, which together forms the universe, and these galaxies are nothing but they're made up of stars. So during the night we can see the stars twinkling, and the clouds that are there, and all the gaseous forms that are there in the atmosphere, all these are nothing but the galaxies. So imagine in this huge universe, wherein a group of galaxies is there is a galaxy which is called as the Milky Way galaxy, in which Earth is just a speck. Earth is nothing when compared to the huge universe, right? There are many more planets which are bigger and more advanced than when compared to the Earth. So Earth is just a speck when compared to this. So people believe that actually first came the galaxies, then these group of galaxies, they form the universe, and in the universe or in the galaxy there are different types of galaxies. Among them, in one galaxy the Earth is present and the other planets as well. The other 8 planets that are there, they are also present. So therefore this is how they believe the life started to form, or the universe actually started to develop. And then further evidences prove that the origin of life is because of a theory called as the Big Bang theory. So scientists put forward a theory called as the Big Bang theory, and this Big Bang theory, and they said that the evolution started, or the formation of the Earth started because of this particular Big Bang theory. So we shall see what according to them they had put forth the idea using the Big Bang theory. So they said in the universe a huge explosion took place. It is Big Bang. Big is huge, bang is something, a explosion. So therefore huge explosion took place, and when this explosion took place, the universe expanded itself in its size. So the universe expanded, and when the universe expanded, what happens? The temperature came down. So because of the expansion of the universe, the temperature came down. So when the temperature reduced or came down, it resulted in the formation of the hydrogen and the helium gas in the atmosphere. And these hydrogen and helium gases, they actually condensed under the gravitational force, and they formed the galaxies of the present day universe. So what is the universe? It is nothing but a group of galaxies. So how did the galaxies form in the universe? So to tell that, how did because if there was no galaxy, there would have not been a Earth, right? And if there was no Earth, there would have not been a life form, right? So therefore, first we need to understand how the galaxy formed. So a group of scientists were studying on this, and they found out that galaxies were formed based on the Big Bang theory, wherein a huge explosion took place and all these transformations occurred in the universe. Therefore, because of the expansion of the universe, therefore resulting in the form of galaxy. Because I told you, galaxy is nothing but they are made up of gases, stars and other planets and all that, right? So all these were formed based on the explosion that took place in the universe. But is this theory correct? No, still people do not know. We have still not got an idea exactly as to how the universe existed or how the life actually formed. It was just a theory given, which some people believe even now, and they're working on it to see whether this Big Bang theory is correct or not. But some people almost disagreed on this particular theory. So this was about the Big Bang theory that was put forward in order to explain how exactly the galaxies are formed. So next we'll talk about the galaxy. So now the galaxy is formed according to the explanations given by the Big Bang theory. So what is this galaxy is made up of? So in the galaxy there is the presence of the solar system. So the solar system consists of, it is made up of the sun and all the different planets, right? So Milky Way galaxy, there are different types of galaxies, and you all might have seen in movies and all that, aliens coming from different galaxies, the other galaxy, that galaxy. So some neighbor galaxies are also there, but Earth is present in the Milky Way galaxy. So we'll concentrate on that one. So in the Milky Way galaxy, what is it made up of? It is made up of the solar system. So in the solar system, there is the sun and the respective moons of the planet, and also the presence of the 9 planets that are there. And also apart from that 9 known planets, there might be still some planets which are unknown and still work going on that. But at present, we all know generally there are 9 planets that are present. And among them, it is Earth, which is very, very tiny among them. The scientists said that the Earth might have originated about 4.5 billion years back. So 20 billion years back, universe formed. After that, galaxies formed. In the galaxies, the Earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago. And at that time, during that is 4.5 billion years ago, when the Earth had just formed, People believe that there was no atmosphere on the early earth. There was no atmosphere at all. So imagine, atmosphere is one very important thing, because the gases that are there, be it oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ammonia, all that are present in the atmosphere, right? And they are very, very important. But the early earth did not have atmosphere. So therefore, when the earth was formed 4.5 billion years ago, there was no atmosphere in the earth, and therefore there was no life form at that period of time. And the water vapor, methane, water vapor, it is the gaseous form of water vapor, methane, then carbon dioxide and ammonia got released. From where did they get released? They got released from the molten mass. So because of the volcanic eruptions and all that, they got released. So that is why, how did the gases form? So understand, the universe was formed 20 billion years ago. After the formation of the universe, the galaxies got formed according to the theories put forward by the Big Bang theory. After the formation of the galaxy, among different galaxies, Milky Way is one galaxy. In that Milky Way, the Earth was formed about 4.5 billion years back. And during that period, when the Earth had just formed, the Earth did not have any gases. There was no atmosphere at all. So where the question will never arise, right? It will not have any gases. But as the volcanic eruptions and all that, because of the molten mass and all that, what happened? Gases started to form. On the other hand, I can also say that atmosphere started to form in the earth. So the atmosphere was mainly made up of water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide and ammonia. And the UV rays. So we already know the solar system existed. So in the solar system, the sun is present, right? That is, at the center of the solar system, there is the sun, and the UV rays from the sun actually broke the water into hydrogen and oxygen. How? Water is made up of H2O. And when sun rays fell on the water, these are the sun rays. When sun rays fell on the water, so sun rays, it consists of UV rays. So therefore, the water absorbed the UV rays and it broke water into hydrogen and oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen. So that was how the earth was formed. So, and this hydrogen escaped to the upper atmosphere. So hydrogen and oxygen, and the lighter hydrogen that was there, it escaped to the upper atmosphere. So that is how they came to understand from water. So when water vapor got converted into vapor because of the heat, right? So what heat? Because of the sun's heat. So in the sunlight, the UV rays were there, that was absorbed by the water, and it got split into hydrogen and oxygen. That is how these gases got into the atmosphere of the earth. So we now know that the UV rays that entered into the Earth's atmosphere, then there was no ozone layer that was formed in the Earth's atmosphere. So the UV rays, extreme amounts of UV rays could enter into the Earth's atmosphere. So when it entered into the Earth's atmosphere, the water molecules that were there, it got broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. And that hydrogen molecules, which were lighter in weight, they evaporated into, that is, they went to the atmosphere, and the oxygen that was there, it combined with ammonia and also with methane to form water, carbon dioxide and also other molecules. Now, after the formation of this, the ozone layer slowly started to develop. So ozone layer started to develop. One reason was because of the breakdown, or because of the oxygen which combined with ammonia and methane. All these reasons led to the formation of the ozone layer as well. And when the ozone layer was formed, what happens? The earth temperature gradually decreased, because we know that ozone is a protective layer that is present in the atmosphere that acts a barrier between the sun's rays to that of the earth, right? Imagine if there was no ozone layer, till today also there would have not been any life forms existing on this earth. So therefore, once the ozone layer got formed, what happened? It actually cut the entry of the UV rays into the Earth's atmosphere. So therefore, when the UV rays when the heat energy from the sun was minimized entering into the Earth's atmosphere, the temperature of the Earth started to cool. So when the temperature of the Earth started to cool, what happened? The water vapor that was collected in the atmosphere, they condensed and they start to fall as rain. And you know that once rain started to form, it gave rise to the formation of huge depressions, and all these depressions or crust or craters that were there in the earth, they got filled with water, and therefore oceans started to form. And that is why people believe that life originated from the oceans. Till now, there are some speculations that are going on wherein people say that the life actually started in this earth from the oceans, because water is very, very important for the living organisms. And therefore, once the ocean started to form, life appeared 500 million years after the formation of the earth. So 4.2 billion years back, the earth was formed, and after that gradual process, the gases started to form, atmosphere started to form, ozone layer started to develop, rain started, then ocean started to develop. And after all these, what happens? After 500 million years, imagine up till 500 million years, there was no life on this earth. After the formation of the earth, then after 500 million years, the life actually started to appear on this earth, and the earth became functional. That is almost 4 billion years back. Though the earth was formed, it took 500 billion years for life to develop on this earth. So imagine how slow this process was. So, and some scientists, they actually believe that life came from outside. So some people, they believe that life actually originated in the ocean. Once the ocean developed, life originated, and still that belief is still there in the people, and work is going on towards that. But there was some set of scientists who actually believed that life came from the outside. Where from outside? Maybe from some other planet, or from the planets that are present in the neighboring galaxies, or somewhere the life came. But still, that is what we talk about, aliens and all that, right? But still, there are no scientific evidences for that. And the early Greek people, so the people of Greek who were the present in the early times, that is the early Greek people, they thought that the life was in the form of very small units called as spores. So spores, you all have come across the word called as spores, like so. Spores are small structures that are produced by the fungi, which are microscopic in nature, not that clearly visible. So from such small specks called as spores, the life were formed, and these spores later on got transferred into different planets, including the Earth. So first, somewhere in the galaxy, spores started to develop, and these spores transferred themselves or transported themselves to different planets, including the Earth, and that is how life formed in the Earth. But all these are false interpretations that have been done. So all these, till now, even people are just interpreting or just giving theoretical ideas how the earth might have evolved. Still today, a proper conclusion has not been got, or how life actually formed, a proper conclusion has not been got, and still work is going on towards that. But this is what the early scientists and the early Greek thinkers thought about the origin of life in earth, which has no evidence at all, and therefore these two thoughts were put down. Why? Because there are no evidences for such thoughts. And next, there was a theory put forward which is called as the panspermia theory. So few scientists, they started saying that life on earth actually came into the earth through the meteorites. So when the meteorite entered into the earth's atmosphere, it brought in various organisms. So meteorite, it will be circulating in the galaxies, right? So when it enters into the earth, that is when it brought what is that? It acted like a vehicle wherein it collected all the organisms that were present somewhere in some other place in the galaxy, and then they brought the organism into the earth, which is completely wrong. There are no evidences, and though work, that is research was done on this, they proved that the statement is completely wrong. So panspermia theory is completely wrong. But even today, some astronomers, they still believe that life came into earth through the meteorite, but it is not true. So that is panspermia theory. Next, there was one more theory put forward by few scientists, which is called as the theory of spontaneous generation. So what is spontaneous? Means something spontaneous. At that moment, some life started existing on the earth. They just said spontaneously life started forming on the earth. It was not from outside, it was not because of the ocean or nothing, but it was spontaneously, it just started forming. So life, they said that whatever materials were there on the earth, such as the decaying and rotting matter like the straws, the mud or any other rotting matter, from that actually life started to develop, which is true. Of course, it is not true, but from that if life has to develop, again some other organism should come and lay its egg or something on that, right? Say for example, we keep a food outside and it starts rotting. After few days, you can see larvae on it. From where did the larvae come? It would have been a housefly would have come and sat on it. It would have laid the eggs on that particular stale food or rotting food, and then through that eggs the larva will come out, right? So if that life has to form, that is if that larva has to form on that rotting food, some source should have been. From where did the housefly exist? So therefore spontaneous theory of generation was not able to prove all that. They just said that something was rotting, so from that rotting thing, life will start to form, which is not true, right? There should be some other source through which the life has to form. So therefore, this theory is completely false. The theory that is theory of spontaneous generation. So next, one more scientist, that is Louis Pasteur. So he actually started experimenting to prove that whether spontaneous generation is correct or not. He started researching. I told you some scientists, they had put forward a theory saying that from whatever was existing, that is the rotting mud, rotting straw or any other rotting substances, from that life started to originate. But Louis Pasteur, he actually started working on that. He started doing research on that, and he found out that life actually comes only from the pre-existing life. As I told you, the example of a housefly. Only the housefly is now pre-existing. Only if the housefly goes and sits on the food, and while feeding, if it lays the egg on the food and then the eggs hatch to form the larvae, then the life has formed on that particular food. But from where did the life come? It came from the housefly, right? So therefore, Pasteur, he actually proved that life cannot spontaneously generate as such from somewhere. There should be a pre-existing life that should actually result in creating new life. So that is what he actually said. And he just didn't give a statement, he also proved it through his experiment. So what he did was, he showed that he took a flask. One was already sterilized and the other one was not sterilized. So the pre-sterilized flask means already sterilized. Before using for the experiment itself, he had sterilized the flask. So he showed that in the pre-sterilized flask, life did not come from killed yeast. So what he did was, killed yeast means it is dead, it is rotting. Anything that is dead only will rot, right? So what he did was, he took a flask, one flask, he actually preheated it, pre-sterilized it, and into that he put the yeast which is not living, it is dead yeast he put. So when that yeast started to rot, what happened? He didn't see any organism growing on it. Therefore, what he found out was, from dead organisms, the life will not exist. So life did not come from killed yeast, while in another flask, he just left it open to the air. What he did was, he fitted a bent tube. Why bent tube? Because the organism should not easily enter into it. So that is why. So here there was killed yeast, And what he did, killed yeast, and he put a bent tube. So when he put a bent tube, what happened? The other organisms from the external environment was not able to enter into it. So when it was not able to enter into it, there was no organism growing in this particular flask. So he came to know that inside there is a dead decaying matter, which is yeast there, but because the organisms was not able to enter into the flask through the outside external environment, no organism started to develop in this particular flask. But in the other flask, what he did was, there also he put a killed yeast, but he left the flask open. So because he left the flask exposed to the external environment, whatever organisms were roaming in the air, they entered easily into the flask and they started growing on the dead and decaying organic matter. Because you all know that fungi or bacteria, they prefer growing on dead and decaying organic matter, right? So that is when he said that it is life, the existence of life doesn't depend on any of the dead or decaying organic matter. It depends on only the pre-existing life. Here, which were the pre-existing life? In the atmosphere, the bacteria and all that were there, which entered and they started to grow on the yeast, making it as a source of nutrition. So that is what he meant. So what he meant was, in the open flask, he found that new living organisms arose from the killed yeast. So that is what he proved. So he proved that. So therefore, now it is understood to us, spontaneous generation theory is wrong. But what they were not able to analyze, what they said is correct. But according to them, it is completely wrong because they were not able to prove it correctly. So what he did was, keeping their theory only, he did 2 experiments and he proved that any dead organic matter, from any dead matter, from that life will not arise. Only from the pre-existing life forms the life will arise. So that is what Pasteur proved. So that is when the exact search for the origin of life started from Louis Pasteur's era. So Louis Pasteur is the first person to prove something, saying that life can exist only from the pre-existing life form. So after this experiment, again, various other scientists, they got an interest to study how actually life formed. And that is when 2 scientists, that is Oparin and Haldane. So Oparin was a scientist from Russia. Oparin and Haldane was a scientist from England. So they actually put forward a theory wherein they said that the first form of life could have come from the pre-existing non-living organic molecules. That is when they started to study about the RNA and the proteins and all that, because they are nothing but the genetic material, right? So the mRNAs, the proteins, so they started to say that there are some non-living forms. So RNA, proteins and all that, they are non-living in nature, right? So it is from these the life actually existed. Okay, the life actually existed from RNA and proteins. But from where did these RNA and proteins come? So that was the question. So what did they say? The first form of life might have originated from the pre-existing non-organic molecules, that is the RNA and proteins. And they also said that from these, the formation of life continued by various chemical evolution, that is by the formation of variety of organic molecules from inorganic constituents. So according to them, what were the inorganic constituents? It was the RNA and protein, and from the RNA and protein, various life forms started to exist. And also they said that apart from this, a lot of different organic elements started to develop from inorganic elements. So, and that is when they said that the condition of the earth was also during that time having very high temperature. Is it true? Yes, it is true. Why? Because there was, during the starting of the formation of the earth, when the earth originated, during that period, ozone layer was not there. So therefore, the earth had very high temperature and there was lots of volcanic storms. And because of the volcanic storms, what happened? there was formation of gaseous elements in the atmosphere, right? So this is also correct. And the reducing atmosphere contained methane, ammonia, etc., therefore resulting in the formation of various other molecules such as oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, all that started to evolve from all these things. So that was the theory. So now this theory, is it correct or wrong? So to prove that, one more scientist, that is Miller, S.L. Miller, who was from America, in the year 1953, he created some similar condition in the laboratory. So what he did was, he set up an experiment wherein in a closed flask, so if you can see here, in a closed flask, he took gases such as methane, ammonia, then water and hydrogen, and he started giving sparks. So sparks acted like lightnings. So these sparks actually generated the heat. So when heat generated, what happened? He actually studied. So what he did was, so now first thing he did was, he created the same condition in the laboratory. So if you remember, I had told you about Pasteur's experiment. So Pasteur's experiment was based on the theory of spontaneous generation, right? And he proved that theory of spontaneous generation is wrong, and what he found out was correct. And after that, two scientists, that is Oparin and Haldane, they said that actually a number of gases start to form, or number of organic elements started to develop from the inorganic elements. Now, Miller wanted to see whether that theory is correct or wrong. And they were the ones that they said that because of this, a lot of, that is water vapor started to form, then various gases started to form in the atmosphere and all that. Now, because of the temperature. Now, Miller wanted to prove whether this is correct or not. So that is when he went for this. Based on Oparin and Haldane's theory, he went for this experiment to see whatever they said was correct or wrong. So what he did was, he created an electric discharge. So he took in a closed flask, he took various gases as I had mentioned, then he gave electric discharge to that. And what happened was, that is about, so that at the temperature was 80 degrees centigrade. So in this, what was there? Water vapor was also there along with the gases, which is also gaseous there. And he observed the formation of amino acids. So amino acids have started to develop. We all know that proteins are nothing but chains of amino acids. What did Oparin and Haldane say? They said that inorganic material, that is from RNA and protein, the life existed. So RNA, protein, they mentioned something about protein, right? So what is protein made up of? It is nothing but amino acids. So here can you see, when he performed this experiment, that is when Miller performed the experiment, he found out that methane, then ammonia, water, then hydrogen, all that, when the sparks were given, when the spark discharge was done using the electrodes, what happened? A temperature rose to 800 degrees centigrade. So at 800 degrees centigrade, what happened? All these gases that were there, they got converted into amino acids, and he started observing the gases and he found the formation of the amino acids. So therefore, it is somewhere true that from proteins, the life might have existed on this earth. Why? Because proteins are nothing but made up of chains of amino acid. Therefore, proving that Oparin's and Haldane's theory might be correct to some extent. And also, after this experiment, some other scientists also performed various experiments, and they found out that there was the formation of sugars, nitrogen bases, pigments, fats. All these are the components of the living system, right? We all know that the epidermal tissues of an animal or a human body is made up of fats. Fats are very important. And sugars, glucose, and all the different monosaccharides, polysaccharides, all that are there, they are very, very important, right? And nitrogenous bases. So DNA, it is made up of, and RNA are made up of nitrogenous bases. So therefore, their theory is correct now. Oparin's and Haldane's theory is almost similar, because other scientists also conducted these experiments and they found out the formation of various compounds. So that is why their theory might be correct. It was correct actually what they said. And apart from that, scientists also observed some of the meteorites. They saw some of the meteorites and they found out that in the meteorites also some compounds were present which were similar to these particular compounds. Therefore, that is why astronomers still today also they believe that life might have come from the earth from outside, but they were wrong. Life didn't actually exactly come from the earth through the meteorites from outside, but meteorites actually contained similar compounds, that is it contained amino acids, nitrogen bases, all those things it might have contained, which led to the formation of the life in the earth that is existing today. So therefore, what they found out was, after analyzing the meteorite, they revealed that there are similar compounds that actually are present elsewhere in the space and they were brought in by the meteorite. So this was the theory. Now we have to thank Oparin and Haldane because their theory actually put forth the idea into Miller, wherein he conducted this particular experiment and he proved that their theory is correct, and also this led to the discovery by other scientists wherein they found out that apart from the formation of amino acids, there are also other compounds that were being formed which actually led to the formation of life on Earth. So therefore, till now it is believed that life actually started from a inorganic matter, that is from the RNA, protein and various other compounds that were formed based on the gases that were present in the atmosphere. So that is how life actually started to form on this earth. So this is about the origin of life on earth, and still the experimental works or the investigations didn't stop till here. Even till today, people still working on to exactly know how actually life formed, keeping all these experiments as a background. So this is about origin of life on earth. So I hope you understood this session well. In the coming session, we shall see about the evolution of life forms, wherein different theories were put forward by various scientists to say that the life forms have evolved into various other forms which are existing today. And there are various theories which we will study under that. They are the theory of special creation, Darwin's theory of evolution, and Darwin's theory of natural selection. So all these we shall study in the coming session. So I hope you understood this session well. We shall meet in the coming session. Thank you.